Is everyone ready?
Yes.
Okay.
Yeah,
Go ahead.
we're good.
Go ahead.
We're good.
Yep, go ahead. All right. Welcome to the March 27th, 2023 meeting of the Library Board. Will the staff secretary please call roll?
Maria Fisk,
Present.
Sophia Moreno,
Present.
Lakshmi Rao, Kayla Scott,
Present.
Eileen Speaker,
Here.
Kim Ryan Unidad.
Here.
Thank you. Will Board Member Dunn please lead us in the Pledge of Allegiance?
Okay. I pledge allegiance to the flag of the United States of America and to the republic for which it stands, one nation, under God, indivisible, with liberty and justice for all.
Will the secretary read the procedures for addressing the Library Board today?
Citizens addressing the board during public comment are asked to approach the podium and are limited to 3 minutes unless extended by the chair, and must be regarding items that are not listed on the agenda and are with the city's jurisdiction. The Brown Act does not permit any action or discussion on items not listed on the agenda. No action will be taken on items addressed under public comments.
I would now open for public comment, but we do not seem to have any public here, so we'll move on to the next agenda item. Next on the agenda are the minutes. Approval of the minutes from our last meeting, which was January 23rd of this year. Is there a motion to approve?
I move that we approve the last stated meeting minutes.
I will second the approval with the condition that there is one typo on page 2 that I'd like to see corrected prior to approval.
Be done and it will be submitted at the next meeting.
All in favor?
Aye.
Aye. Aye.
Aye.
Any opposed? Motion carries. Next on the agenda is the election of the Library Board Chair and Vice Chair. I'd like to go ahead and have some discussion prior to the vote. Some of you were not here last meeting when we deferred the vote, and one of the reasons for deferring was to try and give more people an opportunity to be in the chair and the vice chair position. I made a proposal that maybe we have an unofficial method of moving vice chair to chair. We elect annually, moving vice chair to chair, and then perhaps choosing the person who's been on the board second longest for the vice chair position. We don't have to make that any kind of a voted on standard. It was just a suggestion that I made. But first, I think we should see who has interest in being chair and or vice chair. And I will just start as vice chair. I do have an interest in being chairperson and or vice chair again. Anyone else?
I have an interest in being vice chair.
Okay. Are there any motions on the selection of the library board chair?
Maria, I would move to approve you as chair and, well, is it two separate motions? Sorry.
I'll
for
do
vice
it in
chair,
two.
but- Yeah. So I would move to approve you, yes.
Is there a second?
I second.
All in favor?
Aye.
Oh, aye.
Any opposed? The motion carries. Do we have a motion on the selection of the vice chair?
I would move to approve Kayla Scott as vice chair.
I will second that. Motion carried, sorry.
Yeah,
Yes.
let's take a vote on that.
All in favor?
Aye.
Aye.
Any opposed?
So Lakshmi, we're in the middle of voting for vice chair, and so since you just appeared while we were doing the deliberation, you can obviously participate in that vote as well. We already voted for chair, which is Maria, but since you appeared while, were in attendance while we were in the middle of discussing the vice chair, you definitely have the opportunity to vote, to cast your vote as well. I'm sorry, so maybe we can repeat that.
Okay.
All in favor?
Sorry, flat tires, that was the reason.
So all in favor of Kayla Scott being vice chair, please say aye again.
Aye.
Aye. Any opposed? And the motion carries.
So now, Maria, since you are the new chair, you will take over for the rest of the meeting.
Okay. We'll move on next to requests and presentations. So next on the agenda, it's item 7.1. 2023 Libraries and Culture Goals by City Librarian Natasha Martin. I'd like to open, oh, sorry. Go ahead, Natasha.
Hi. Good evening. Presentation tonight on the libraries and culture goals. So our library and culture division encompasses all of our 3 public libraries, our Mighty Museum and Historic Site, and our cultural arts division. Our cultural arts division is quite small at the time, but we're working on different funding of public art and different culture programs and events in the city of Roseville. And to give you a couple highlights of what we're planning this year, specifically in relation to public art installations, the first one is our Downtown Library Children's Mural. And that will be installed the first week of April at our downtown library. This is in partnership with Blue Line Arts with their teen mural camp. And the teens are at-risk youth in our community. They could be the children of incarcerated adults or in foster care, but that is the goal of this program, to enhance art education and fulfillment in that age group. We are going to be hosting an artist reception and unveiling of that mural on Friday, April 7th from 4 to 5 p.m., and the library board will be invited to attend that event. The second mural is our Martha Riley Community Library, and this is an exterior mural. When you approach the library on the left, there's a large beige wall to the left of the door, and that will be a new mural that will be completed sometime in April. It is funded by the Friends of the Roseville Library in celebration of their 50th anniversary. And there will be an opening reception, and also the reception will honor the Friends as well in honor of their 50th anniversary, and that will be on Saturday, April 29th. And more information will be coming out about the date and time of that event. It might change depending on the artist and what the timeline is, and dependent upon the weather as they're trying to install that. That's a rather large mural. Again, that will be something that we will definitely be reaching out to the board and inviting you to attend. And then the final public art piece that we're installing will be later in the year, and this is the Veterans Memorial Park North public art installation. We recently did a call to artists. We received 7 submissions for a sculptural art element to be installed in the turf area, visible from the road and the parking area at Veterans Memorial Park. We chose an artist from Southern California. His name is Chad Lefevre, and his submission was a 6-foot-tall, 5-foot-wide bronze poppy, and it's titled Remembrance. And a plaque on the front will have the poem Flanders Field, which began in World War I, and that's how that became a symbol of veterans, the poppy. And so it will kind of give a little bit of history of how that started. And again, that's going to be an installation and dedication on Veterans Weekend. And again, the board will be invited to that, and more information will be coming as we move through the installation. The artists will start fabrication of that piece sometime in June. And then another area that we're really thrilled to have as part of the city is our world-class Mighty Museum and Historic Site. And there are several exciting updates coming into the museum this year. The first is new trail signs, and this has been a multi-year project to add interpretive trail signage on the petroglyph tour around the exterior of the museum. So the 12 signs will give information about the petroglyphs, about the grinding holes and the mortars, about the native flora and fauna, and how it was used by the Nisenan and Maidu tribes. And so those will be installed sometime toward the end of April or beginning of May, and that will really increase the educational connection with our school tours and the general public who are doing the trail tour at the museum. We are able to hire a full-time staff person at the museum in this year's budget. This was the second full-time position we have at the museum. Right now, we only have one full-time person at the museum and several part-time staff. So this new person will be helping lead visitor services, working with our museum volunteers and docents, and helping craft programming, camps, and classes at the museum as well. So we're really excited to bring that second person on board. And we've reinvigorated our Native Advisory Committee. This is a group of our Native tribal partners and others in the state and nonprofit organizations who really assist the museum in, for example, the verbiage and the graphics on the trail sign, our new art exhibits, any of our museum exhibits, our exhibit policy, things of that nature, where it's very important that we make sure the verbiage that we're using is exactly within line with what the tribes need us to use, because we're trying to interpret an existing culture. And so having that strong tribal partnership and working relationship is extremely important to the success of this museum. And then finally, we're working to bring back our Native art shows, and then in spring of '24, bring back the Yeoman Spring Celebration, which was annually drew about 2,500 people to the museum, and it was a huge event for the community. So we're really looking forward to, again, with our work with the tribal partners, bringing back the contemporary Native artists, rotating those shows so that every time you come to the museum, there's something new and exciting to look at. And then finally, last but not least, our libraries. This is a great photo that we took at an outreach event in Weber Park with our mobile library several years ago, just to remind everyone that, yes, we do have 3 libraries, but we also have our mobile library, and outreach is really key to what we do in the community. A lot going on this year, which we've already touched on a little bit with our strategic plan. But just to go over some programs and services and new technology projects that are in the works, I'm not going to be able to go through everything. I'm just going to hit some highlights. As you know, Chris Rohde spoke here, our library supervisor, a few months ago, and talked about the 6 technology projects that we have this year. The biggest one is our automated materials handling and self-check replacement. We're currently working with a vendor on some quotes, some final quotes. We look to start implementation of that contract, hopefully by June of this year. And some of the pieces of that project will go in toward the beginning of the project, like our self-checks, our security gates, and those kinds of pieces, which are already constructed and available. And then another 6 months out, we can look at installing all the new induction systems, the materials conveyor belts, all those return items that we have. We are really excited to be able to improve our efficiencies and the functionality for our customers and our staff. And this is a huge project for us. We have had this current equipment now for 9 years, and it's at end of life. So we're really excited to replace that, and it's going to be a huge enhancement from what we have now. So we're looking forward to that installation. And we'll keep the board updated as pieces of that project come online. And our new library catalog overlay, Aspen, again, that was something that was also funded by the Friends of the Roseville Library. Now when you visit our library catalog, which is called Koha, you search for your materials and you can link to place those on hold and you can access your account. With our new Aspen overlay, it brings all of our services and our materials into one location. So for example, if you are looking for an ebook or a streaming item or a book on tape, you can now access it directly from the catalog. You don't have to go back out to a different app. You don't need to go to Libby. You don't need to go to the Overdrive app or anything like that. You can all access it directly from the catalog, which is going to be a big customer service improvement for everyone who's looking for items. And the catalog interface, it's just pretty. It's more what you're used to seeing with other kind of services that you browse online, so we're really excited about that one. It should be ready sometime in June. The photo you see in the slideshow is from one of our Cultures Without Borders programs. We have 3 of those coming up this spring. Again, that's a program where different family members of all ages can come into the library and learn about a different country, a different culture. They can do a craft project to take home. And we found a side benefit of this program is that we're seeing the multi-generational component come into play, which is something that we weren't necessarily expecting. And people are sharing their perspective of that culture, or they're a member of that culture, or they've been to that country and they're sharing their experience. And so it just creates a really strong community dialogue as people are learning together about a different culture. So we really enjoy that program. Our California State Park passes, we've had those now for almost a year. We're rolling out 150 more passes. So now you will be able to place those on hold like you would a regular library material. You can check them out for 3 weeks, take them, and it'll admit your family to any of our state parks. And we'll be talking a little bit more about that rollout when we talk about National Library Week. And our volunteer program is back. We've really expanded that. People are coming back into the library, they're shelving, they can assist with programs, they can assist with the processing of materials. We have our new teen library council that's come back as well, and they'll be developing programs and volunteering in the library, and it's really good to see them involved in the community and really engaged in library services. And again, our school outreach partnerships. We do a really good job of partnering with our schools and making sure we're providing them supplemental educational materials, whether it's ebooks, whether it's going out to all the school fairs, but we really do make an effort to connect with our schools, with our adventure clubs, and make sure our library services are what they need and what's going to work best for them as well, and supporting the schools as much as we can. And that concludes my presentation. I'm happy to answer any questions.
Thank you, Natasha. I'd like to open this to the board for questions and comments.
I have a comment. Well, first of all, I'd like to commend the leadership of the library. You're being proactive in upgrading the technology and making sure you provide top-notch service to the community. I have a question also for the services, because I looked at some of the other library in Sacramento, Stanislaus, Yolo, and San Joaquin County. Their libraries provide passport services, and I know our city clerk has that one already, but I think the demand is so high that maybe we can explore, or the library can explore that for added services to the community, and maybe that will get us over the hump when we apply for the medal awarding or something.
Thank you.
Thanks.
I also have a comment and a question. I am thrilled to see all of the art and culture that's being reinvigorated over at Maidu, and hopefully that increases a little bit more traffic there as well, especially over the summer. And I just wanted to know a little bit more about the California State Park passes. Were those being really well used, the first round of them?
Yes. So in the first round, we had less than 20 passes for all 3 of our libraries, and that's how the state library rolled those out to us. Mm-hmm. So what we did was had them available as what we called a lucky day pass, because we knew if we allow customers to put those on hold, we looked at some neighboring library systems, they would have 700 or 800 holds, and they would never be able to even go through those until the program ended. So we put ours out as a lucky day. You could drop into the library. If you saw it there, you could check it out. For a week. And so now, because we have 150 more passes, we feel that it would be a much better service to be able to allow customers to put those on holds. The holds of us won't be extremely long with that many passes, and then you can check it out for 3 weeks. So potentially you could visit multiple parks in that time frame. Mm-hmm. But yes, those passes were always off the shelf. People would be calling, is it there? I'm going to drive right down.
Aww.
Yeah.
What made the difference to be able to get 150 compared to the first round of 20?
Because when the state library partnered with the California State Parks, it was a pilot program, and they didn't know how well it would go over, and so immediately you could tell that it was so huge of a success that they issue more passes to us.
That's awesome.
Yeah.
Cool. Very cool. Thank you.
You're welcome.
Are those available now? The extra
Yes.
150? Okay, thank you. Does anyone else have any comments or questions?
I have a question. Is that individually limit for how much they can, like a family? I just ask for myself, one. But if my family have 5, 6 people, is there a limit for an individual family to get those passes?
It's per car. So when you enter the state park and you have to pay the entrance fee, it's per car. So they don't limit it to how many are in your car. So it's one per vehicle.
Oh, entry pass.
Yes.
It's not an individual pass. Okay,
No.
got it.
It just gets
Thank
you in, but if you do want, it doesn't cover things like if you want to camp or things like that, it's just the entry fee. And so that's usually taken by car.
Thank you.
However many you can fit in your car, you know, you can get in there.
16-seater van.
School bus, yeah.
Personally check out one at a time.
Yes,
Yes, yes. Thank you.
you're welcome.
I have another question. The Culture Without Borders program, is there like volunteer opportunities for that? Or,
I can check and see.
all right, thank you.
Good question.
Thanks for asking.
Of course, thank you.
I'd like to go ahead and open this up to public comment. Seeing that there is none, let's move along to the next item. Next on the agenda is National Library Week by Library Supervisor Rachel Prowse.
Hi, thank you for having me. So I'm here to give you a little overview of National Library Week, what we do during National Library Week, what it is, and just kind of tell you all the fun stuff that's coming up. So National Library Week began in 1958, and it's a national observance sponsored by the American Library Association, and it's celebrated by libraries across the country in April. So National Library Week this year is April 23rd through 29th. And the theme this year is There's More to the Story. So during this week, each day kind of has a different designation. So Monday of that week, ALA will release its State of the American Libraries report. And they also release the list of the top 10 most frequently challenged books in the past year. On Tuesday, it's National Library Workers Day, so tell a librarian or a library staff how much you love them. Wednesday is National Library Outreach Day, and they just encourage libraries to get out into their community on that day, and if not on that day, just whenever they can. Thursday is Take Action for Libraries Day to help spread awareness, increase funding, and et cetera. So what Roseville Public Library is doing for National Library Week is pretty cool. We are expanding our hours of operation at 2 of our locations. So starting in National Library Week, the Maidu and the Riley libraries will open at 9 a.m. Monday through Thursday. So we're adding a few more hours there. We've really looked at when people are coming to the library and when they're not, and so that's why we're adding extra hours into the morning. Like Natasha had mentioned, the mural that the Friends of the Libraries are sponsoring, we hope that it's painted by National Library Week so we can have the reception and dedication celebration for that on April 29th. So that is tentative, but we are hopeful because that would be the perfect addition to our week. So we are adding to our library collection. They are called Roseville Rangers Adventure Packs. Yes, all of your mouths are open. They are amazing. So these packs are designed to be checked out, take them home for 3 weeks, and they have different themes. So this one is a hiking theme, and we will have birds, and we will also have trees. So you can check one of these out. Use your handy dandy binoculars to see nature. And if you want to look at nature up close, magnifying glass. Depending on the theme, they come with different items. So we have a wildflowers of Northern California, kind of a guide to help you identify what you see. We have a bug guide to help investigate those bugs you're finding on the trail while you're out hiking. And like I said, depending on the theme, they come with different books and maps and stuff. So here's birds of Central and Northern California. It's fun. When we first got these at the library, we were looking out the windows at Riley and identifying the birds. So lots of fun. And so this one has a couple of books like, it's just a guide. What should you take while you're hiking? The whole family can look at this, get some trail tips, identify poison ivy or poison oak to help keep you safe. So there's lots of great information and books in these packs. And we are rolling these out during National Library Week. So like I said, they are for families to check out. Go have some fun in nature and help promote the library as well. And like we had already talked about, this is the actual California State Park Pass. We will have 150 of these available. We have them now. So in addition to placing hold and checking them out, we will have Lucky Day passes as well. So you happen to walk in the library and you're not on the holds list, you can grab one of those. So our spring reading program is actually happening right now, but it will continue through National Library Week. And we are participating in the In and Out Cover to Cover reading program. And each child, ages 4 to 12, they will get a little reading log. And when they complete 5 books, they bring this back into the library and they get a gift card for a free hamburger or cheeseburger at In and Out.
Oh.
And they can actually, if they read another 5 books, they get another certificate, and another 5 books, another one. So they can get up to 3 gift cards for hamburgers or cheeseburgers at In and Out. But it's not only for kids. So for teens and adults, we have our Spring Reading Challenge bingo cards. So they can pick these up in the library. And there's things on there like read a newspaper on Newsbank or listen to an audiobook, introduce yourself to library staff, read a bestseller, request a zip book, stream a movie on Canopy. So if a teen or adult gets bingo, bring this into the library and they get a ticket to be entered into a raffle. If they complete a blackout, they get 2 additional tickets to be entered into the raffle. And the raffle is for a $50 Fountains gift card. So something for everyone there. So as of this morning, 524 youth have signed up for the In and Out Cover to Cover Club, and 113 adults and teens. That number could have gone up already since this morning, because it was a busy day. So in addition to that, during National Library Week, we'll have a bookmark design contest. So all ages 5 to adult can design a bookmark using the National Library Week theme, There's More to the Story. So they can pick up their bookmark anytime between April 1st and April 22nd, take it home and bring it back to the library by Monday, May 1st. And there will be a winner selected in the categories ages 5 to 8, 9 to 12, teen, and adult. And so once the winners are selected, we will mass produce those bookmarks, and while supplies last, you can come and pick one up from the library. So we have a lot of fun stuff coming up during National Library Week, or any day you come to the library. Thank you.
Thank you. You do have a lot of fun stuff coming. I just want to thank you for kicking off National Library Week on my birthday. Does anyone on the board have any comments or questions they want to make?
I just want to say thank you, Rachel. I remember reading and getting my personal pizza as a kid. I still remember doing that. So this In and Out is another iteration of that. So it's really exciting. Thanks for all your hard work.
Of course.
I don't remember ever getting food as a prize from my library. You do really fun stuff in this library.
Library staff a lot of the credit. They work hard and they have fun.
It's used to be round table pizza. Popular.
Yeah, that's right. Yeah. I should have moved to California sooner. Is there any public comment on this agenda item? Seeing none, we'll move on to the next agenda item. So now Natasha Martin, City Librarian, will talk through collection development policy.
Have made the annual update to our collection development policy. This is one of our policies that we do review and edit on an annual basis so that it's completely up to date. And so the purpose of our collection development policy is to provide guidelines for our selection and acquisition of all of our library materials that could be print or digital. The policy provides a vehicle for the continuous evaluation of our collection as a whole. And the ultimate responsibility for the collection development rests with the city librarian. The city librarian delegates the authority of the selection of materials to our collection development librarian and those staff who make those decisions to provide the community with a collection that is diverse, inclusive, accurate, and relevant. And so the collection development policy that was shared with you already, it goes into our budgetary limitations of our collection, how we evaluate materials that we add to the collection, how we maintain and weed the collection as well, and then how we can accept donations or gifts, and most importantly, for the discussion today, this is usually the most controversial piece, is the challenge of materials and reconsideration for materials. And that is the area that changed somewhat from the policy last year. We added a second step in there to the request for materials for reconsideration. Previously, there was only one step, but we wanted to make sure that we are very clear on our guidelines for that should we get any challenged materials. And again, this just shows you what we do and everything that's involved in bringing materials to the public for their use and maintaining the collection that we have. And I'm happy to answer any questions about the policy.
Thank you, Natasha. Does anyone on the board have any comments or questions about the policy? I think I mentioned this before we started the meeting, but I'm really happy to see that when someone gets the registration form, the request for reconsideration form, they get a copy of the policy, and they get copies of the ALA, the American Library Association, Library Bill of Rights, Code of Ethics, Freedom to Read and Freedom to View Statement, and Core Values of Librarianship Statement. I've read many of these documents and think they're very important for equitable, making reading material available to everyone, non-biased, presenting all different sides and, many different positions on information, making sure that we're getting materials from good sources, reliable sources. Anyway, I think this is a really good policy.
Thank you.
So thank you. Are there any comments from the public on this agenda item? Seeing none, we'll move on to the next agenda item. So that is the end of our presentations. Is there any other discussion that anyone wants to bring up that's not on the agenda?
Do we know the results of, I think we forgot. We were waiting for April, right? Last time.
I'm sorry, I didn't catch your comment.
We were waiting for results from the library competition or something in the April.
Oh.
Yeah.
Results from the,
Yes, so I did receive an email this week from the Institute of Museum and Library Services that we were not selected for finalists this year. This is our first time applying for that, so we will apply again this year and continue to provide those programs that we know the community wants and needs and work that into our application for next fall. But thank you for asking.
Oh, thank you. But did they say why you were not selected so that we can work on it?
They actually don't say. It's a little bit different. So the National Recreation and Parks Association, for which Roseville this year is a finalist for the gold medal for Parks and Recreation, they give you an evaluation form. They give you a breakdown, what their scoring is, so you can work to improve your application, which we've done. Again, we've applied for that, the gold medal 3 times. In Roseville, we were a finalist this year, but the IMLS does not provide you with any scoring or feedback or anything, so you don't really know. It's selected by the director of the IMLS and a very small committee. So it's honestly, they're probably looking through all the other submissions, and they always do a really good job about selecting, because they'll select 30 finalists for libraries and museums, so 15 libraries, up around 15 and 15 museums. And so in the past few years, they've selected 3 libraries and 3 museums. And so they do a good job about selecting a very small library or medium size or large. We don't have population categories, but they tend to do that. But this is a situation where we don't really get any feedback. So if anyone knows anyone at the IMLS that has an insider, that they don't. And I have reached out on an email, even though I know that they won't say, but we would like to find out. But it's not the same process where you don't really know who you were up against that year or what they were looking for. So it's a little bit more arbitrary, and it's harder to gauge what we could have improved. But I think we'll sit down with the committee and we can go through it and say, okay, what could we have done differently? Was our theme what should have been showcased? We can kind of see, and we've looked at previous year's winners as well, and they are a little bit all over the map. So it's just whatever strikes them in that year, I think. So we'll continue to improve our application based on what our community wants, what the feedback is, from the board or from the friends or from our different library users, and of course our people in our department as well. So, but thank you for your support on that as we were waiting.
Well, congrats on being a finalist.
Yeah. Thank you.
Get it next year.
Do we have a motion to adjourn?
I move that we adjourn the meeting.
I second.
All in favor?
Aye.
Any opposed? The library board meeting is adjourned at 6:36 PM.